One thing queer, one thing queer, one thing queer. Let's get one thing queer. Let's get one thing queer.
Hello and welcome to One Thing Queer. My name's Jenny Bouton and my pronouns are they, them.
And I'm Kelsey Wren, and my pronouns are she, her.
Hi, friend.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're on a roll.
We are double recording.
Yeah, we're double recording, so welcome back.
Yeah.
We are so excited for this week's episode because you've referenced this particular film in previous episodes, and so we really hope you all have seen this movie because it's a great film, and it really is kind of like an awekening.
Kind of.
Movie.
It was for me. It always stuck in my head. I've said it before. Like, I actually like quoted it in here too, where like, we'll get to it, but she's like, doesn't everybody think like that or something like that? And I'm like, oh, that's what I've always thought. Like, doesn't everybody have those thoughts?
Yeah.
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
I guess.
I mean, I have my theory.
Yeah, you think differently.
I think a little differently. I think
fine.
I think everyone's a little gay. Like at least like 0.01%, you know. Just like a little bit at least.
Oh boy. But we're double recording. So our Shoot the Shit is from last week. So that's the same.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I hope y'all had a chance to watch it. It's But I'm a Cheerleader.
Yes.
Yeah, again.
Great film.
I labeled them for you.
You did. I guess I can't read. I can't read right now.
You do whatever you want, Fred. But yeah, if you didn't get a chance to watch it yet, go and watch that movie first if you want to follow along. It's really like, it's fun, it's campy, it's got like a really dark undertheme because of what it's about, but like they make it funny. The cast and the director mostly are queer, so like it's them kind of being satirical about it, making light of a really heavy situation.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting.
It is very interesting, and the cast is phenomenal. Clea Duvall.
Yeah. And
Natasha Lyonne.
which is gorgeous. RuPaul's in it too.
RuPaul.
Also, it's the I just lost his name. Goodness. It's Kit Pardue's like debut film, which he's in a couple different things. He's also in I think it's Remember the Titans.
Oh yeah,
He plays Sunshine in that movie. So it's his debut. If you all remember Hook, Rufio is in it.
Yep.
I forget his name too. It's Dante something. But he's in it. Like, it's got like, it also has. I was explaining this when we were talking to Ladora. It also has I forget her name. It'll probably come up later in the episode, but she plays the like head aunt witch of Wendy in Casper Meets Wendy.
That girl.
I love it's I'll say it when it comes up, I'm pretty sure, but love that movie too also.
Yes. Great film.
She has a great voice. There's other great actors. It's a lot of like people's debuts, which is really really cool.
Yeah, it's a back in the day film. So I'm going to read the little synopsis if you have not seen it. It's the one on IMDb. It is a naive teenager is sent to rehab camp when her straight-laced parents and friends suspect her of being a lesbian.
Definitely.
So that's the gist of the movie.
Yeah, but I don't know. So I guess like to get into like a little bit before we'll do the whole go through the movie afterwards. But to start off with, it's really so like, you know, you saw how they do it by chapters. It's like step 1, step 2.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like so funny because it's like be straight in 5 easy steps. Like it's so ridiculous.
It's pretty cheesy.
It is really cheesy. Like, you just have to do these 5 steps and you're not gay anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's about like conversion camps. Like, and it's so like, it's so ridiculous and it's funny. We'll get through it in the movie, but like a lot of a lot of them, I guess the workers at the camp talk about themselves being like ex-gays, but like they lust over like the men lust over the other men and vice, you know, same for the women. And it's like, y'all are not quote unquote cured.
Yeah.
Like, y'all are still real gay.
Yeah. I'm just like, how do they keep track? Like, I know it's a movie, but I'm like, how do they keep track of like the accuracy of this system, you know, that, you know, people will stay straight.
Right? Yeah. It's And
it's interesting.
It's gross. The whole thing, it's gross. But
Horrible.
yeah. But like I said, like it's like a campy, satirical vibe on this like really awful thing that people have had to go through. And it's actually satirical in the way that it like pushes it so far in your face that it's almost like if you don't see like the irony or like the stupidity in these camps, like it's really over your head then, because like they push like basically like there was a little quote I think from the director. Her name is Jamie Babbitt. She talks about like it's to push society's traditional binary views of gender and responsibilities to their absolute extreme, and while it does that, it shows just how absurd it is. Basically, like not like there's parts in the movie where they show you how to be a woman, quote unquote, big quote unquote, and like the women are all like cleaning or they're housekeepers, and like the men do like mega macho stuff, like they fix cars and like it pushes the binary so ridiculously like that.
Yeah.
That it's like, dude, like that's not how it is. And then actually there's one girl in there who's actually, she's like the quote unquote like stereotypical like butch looking lesbian, I guess. And like she's like, no, I'm fucking straight. Like she's like, just because I like softball and I have my hair shaved like doesn't mean like I like girls, I'm straight. Like which is like another way like it's not what you look like too.
Sense.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just so interesting.
And they talk a little bit about how like there's a point in the movie, like this is like going forward, but there's a point in the movie where her parents come and do like kind of like a review.
Yeah.
And she basically says, oh, I'm gay because mom had to work for us. Mom had to work for the family, and she was like the breadwinner.
And she said she got confused of the roles of men and women.
Yeah.
Which is like what?
Bizarre. Like she was just trying so hard to prove that she wasn't gay.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like, oh yeah, we'll get into it. But that's kind of like, I guess initial thoughts. More will come up, I'm sure. But it's just so... I don't know how, like, I guess people who would push that agenda wouldn't even watch the movie, but I just don't see how you would see that and be like, oh yeah, this makes sense. We should put people through this.
Yeah.
It doesn't make, it's frustrating.
It's just kind of, I feel like the whole idea of conversion therapy is, it's like their easy solution, I guess. And for me, it just seems like more of like, you're in denial.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's really, the simple fixes are not, like, they don't need to be fixed. Like, there's no reason for a fix. Like, it's just, again, if you're not going to accept your queer kid, don't have kids. Sorry about it.
Yeah.
Like, people just are. They just are who they are. And it's frustrating to, like, have people not be able to just see themselves in other people's shoes. Like, it's, I don't know. We can all cray. Cool. So we'll get into it, I guess. Okay, so we start off the movie. So the movie starts out, it's Natasha Lyonne. Her name is Megan. So Megan is at like cheer practice or whatever, and like so she's at cheer practice, and like the whole like beginning is like upskirts basically, and like shots of like the cheerleaders like jumping up and down
and nips.
Yes, and it's her like staring at them basically.
Yep.
And so like the boyfriend says, which is kind of funny too, because like he subtly hints at it, like he tells her like, I can't believe you're leaving, and she's like, well, we're just going to the game before you, like what's the big deal, kind of. I don't know. And then so he like drives her home and stuff, and it's funny because they're like making out in the car. But while they're making out, like there's like visions of like boobs and butts in her head of like the cheerleaders, like, and she's like, "Okay, gotta go." But the way he's like kissing her is like the grossest thing I've ever seen.
So gross. He's
like really like his tongue is all the way outside of her mouth. He's licking her face basically, and it's just like, dude, like. This is terrible.
Horrible.
So he drives her home or whatever, and they have dinner. And it's funny, I bring up the dinner because she's a vegetarian, and that's actually one of the reasons why they think she's a lesbian. It's so funny. Like, and like the dad does like a prayer before dinner, and they know she's going to conversion. They're going to surprise her with it, like ambush her basically the next day. And he's talking about like, oh, like, please, like, God, please help us to follow our correct path and blah, blah, blah.
And to like reject anything that is not natural.
Yeah, which just, it's ridiculous. But it's funny. So I also want you guys, if you watched it already to rewatch, because I learned this after hearing another podcast talk about it too, is there's so many like vaginal innuendos everywhere. Like
Really?
she has a pillow that's like a flower, but it's like a vagina. And like her posters on her walls, like Melissa Etheridge and stuff. Like it's so funny. Like it took me a few watches to like get all those things. It's
Damn.
really funny.
Okay.
So yeah, so they're so the next day I guess she leaves for school, and she like the parents are like, do you think she knows, kind of, and then she gets to her lockers basically, and her friend and the boyfriend are like, oh, like does she know she's going away? And he kisses her and like to say goodbye before he goes to class, and she tells her friend like, don't you hate it when they do that? And like the friend's like, no, like I like it. And like if you open up her locker, like in her locker, in Megan's locker, there's like all kinds of like girls in bikinis and stuff. Like so this
From
is,
magazines.
yeah, so this is also two more of their like evidence that she's gay. So again, the boyfriend drives her home, and he's driving slow because he knows it's intervention, so he's like really scared. So they get there, and it's RuPaul is actually like the ambassador, I guess, for this, which is kind of funny, and it's
Ironic.
yeah, it's very ironic, and it's RuPaul when he's not dressed in drag, basically. And he's like telling them like, I'm from True Directions, and that's the name of the like camp or whatever. And his shirt says straight is great, or yeah, his shirt says straight is gay, which is like, and I don't know, or wait, straight is gay, straight is great. Sorry. His shirt says straight is great, which is pretty funny because it's RuPaul, and it's like that's what makes it so much funnier.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, and like he explains himself as like an ex-gay, which is like what? So they
Yeah, he's wearing short shorts.
yes,
and,
they're
like,
super short.
so flamboyant.
He's so
I
flat.
love it.
He has a lot of makeup on in that too. It's
He
like
does.
not like, I guess it's more like
Base.
base makeup. Yeah, exactly. Why don't I ask you, makeup artist?
I noticed that.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
Because he has it on his head because it's like
Yeah.
bald.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just funny. So they go around, and all the friends talk about like why they think she's gay, and it's funny because they're like, you eat tofu.
Yeah.
Her vegetarianism, and she has like her girl photos, and they actually mention her like vag pillows.
Yep.
That's what I wrote. And the boyfriend's like, you don't even like kissing me, like. So yeah. So anyways, I guess the next scene is they drive her to the house, and like the house is like blue and pink everything because it's like super like binary, like
Yeah.
the girls are all, it's everything is also like this like vinyl, like this, we call it, we actually have it for the company I work for, it's called liquid vinyl, but we don't do it in like pink and blue, it's like black and red.
Yeah.
But like it's like this very like dominatrix, like
It is.
pleather, shiny pleather look.
And I think it was filmed at the Madonna Inn.
Really?
That's something I noticed because I've been to the Madonna Inn, and a lot of the places in the movie reminded me of the Madonna Inn.
Oh, wow.
That is in San Luis Obispo.
Oh.
If anybody has been there. So I thought that was really interesting too.
Oh, interesting. Wow. Huh. Yeah, and she has like fake flowers out front too. It's really funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. So then they meet. Oh, this is her name. It's Kathy Moriarty. Her name's Mary. She's like the True Directions owner. So then they introduce, like, they have a title card for each like step, because this is 5 steps on how you become straight, basically.
Yeah.
So step 1 is admitting you're a homosexual.
I admit I'm a
Yeah.
homosexual.
Yeah.
And that's where she struggled.
That's where she struggles, yeah. So they're trying to make her admit it, basically. And like she's describing like women doing things like, oh, like, and I forget what she was saying exactly, but she's describing women doing things, and the Mary is like, you don't have any unnatural thoughts about that, like, and Megan says like, I don't think it's unnatural, and she's like, haha, you do. Like, everything is like a trap.
Yeah.
And then one of the girls shows her around and like tells her the schedule, like group meeting, blah blah blah. Then they talk about how the girls are in like their pink outfits and the boys are in their blue outfits.
And they all keep the girls together and all the boys together, which I found so ironic.
Right? I always thought that about, like, dude, okay, little quick story. So when I went to Ontario Christian as my freshman year, and my parents were talking about sending me to, it's an all girls school. And like, I think back on that and I'm like, I don't think I would have survived.
I think you would have like.
I would have freaked out.
Yeah.
I would never have talked to anybody. I would have been so much more farther in the closet, I think. It would have scared the shit out of me.
That or the other way around.
I mean,
You would have been so gay.
isn't that weird? I love thinking about those little extra things that happen, and it just changes the trajectory of your life.
Absolutely.
Crazy. Anyways, they go around in a circle like AA, and they admit they're homosexuals. Okay, so they ask her to tell about the first time she thought she was a lesbian, and she lists off the same things that are like in the intervention. And they ask her if she's ever had sex with her boyfriend, and she's like, no, I'm Christian. Like, I went, and they're like, it's easy to be a prude when you're not attracted to him, basically. Like, which is I don't know.
True.
Yeah. She's like, I'm a good girl. And she's arguing with one of the guys. It's Rufio, basically. I'm gonna call him Rufio, even though his name's Dolph. She tells him like, but everyone looks at other girls like that, and he's like, yeah, but this is the line. He says, but you only assume that they're thinking what you're thinking when they look, but they're not. And I like that is what I'm like, oh. And then she like again it like flashes in her mind, and she's looking at like the cheerleaders like boobs and butts, basically. And then she says like, I thought everybody had those thoughts, and then she admits it, and she like yells a bunch of times like, I'm a homosexual.
I'm a homosexual.
Exactly.
Exactly. Homosexual. And then they all leave, don't they?
Yeah, they all leave, and she's like just sitting there. She just keeps on yelling, "I'm a homosexual." And then there's like another funny scene where, so her son, Mary's son, is also in the program, and like he's like. Dude, like he's like uber gay also.
So gay.
But she actually tells him, because he's drinking this like little like martini, like a little I don't know, like a cocktail, and she's like, don't sip it, chug it like a man. It's so stupid. Like, see, all that little stuff is like, this is so ridiculous. Like, it doesn't make you straight or gay. Like, it's
if it didn't have like the comedy aspect, and if it didn't have the primary cast like being queer, like it would really piss me off.
Yeah, right.
Because they push the binary way too fucking much.
It's so even it's just like, dude, it's so gross. So next we get the next title card, which is like step 2. And step 2 is rediscovering your gender identity. And this is part of where they like make the girls vacuum and clean and like put on makeup. And which is funny because while they're cleaning, all the girls are like looking each other up and down while
bending over.
Yes. And putting makeup on each other and stuff. And the boys are like working on cars and chopping wood and like playing soldiers. But like the same thing. They're all like thirsty looking at each other.
They're just turning each other on.
Right.
Basically.
Exactly. So then they have another group meeting. And they're looking for their root of why they're gay. And Graham, which is Cleo Duvall, Graham says that her mother got married in pants. Which is so, and Dolph's, which is funny because this kind of goes back to Adrian's episode. Like Dolph, which is Rufio, had too many locker room showers because he's like a jock. And this is funny too because Hillary's, which is the girl, I forget her name, but she's in a lot of stuff. She's in Yellow Jackets. She's a great actress. She says all girl boarding school, which is so funny.
I mean, it can't get gayer than that.
Yeah, it's pretty gay. Okay, so then they pair off, and they pair Megan and Graham paired together, and they practice these like flashcards, and it's supposed to be like shock therapy basically, which is horrific. But it's like, so Graham tricks Megan, and she holds up a picture of a naked lady, and then she like shocks her, and Megan's like, what the heck? And she's like, oh, you got to be ready for temptation at any point, because Graham is trying to like work the program so she can like get out from underneath her parents' thumb, basically, because they're really horrific, and they're like, you better, like, one of the things he says, you better get this gay thing out of your system before, like,
I cut you off.
oh no.
No, he doesn't say that. I thought he's like, oh, I'm gonna like your trust fund.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, you better have this all out of your system, or there's no trust fund for you, or something like that, which is so gross. Okay, so also they kind of pan back to when the boys are playing like football, and the son of Mary comes out, and he's like has these gardening tools, and he's like rubbing the like the like rake stick
Really
suggestively.
And RuPaul's over there drooling.
Yes, he's drooling, and he catches the other boys drooling, and he tells them like, "Look at you, always wanting something you can't have." That's what makes it so funny, because it's like, dude, like, come on. So like this is where kind of Megan and Graham start to like flirt a little bit, and they're like putting this diaper on a baby, and they're like fighting, but they're play fighting. I don't know. And then
it was so cute.
It was, I love their love story. And like, I almost cry at the end every single time.
Yeah.
Like, it's so sweet.
It is.
So then step 3 comes along, and it's family therapy. So this is where Graham's dad is like super mean, and he makes fun of one of the other kids, like the root stories. And that's what he says. He says, she better have this gay thing out of her system or no trust fund.
And then he just barges out.
Yeah, he runs out, and then Graham follows them, and Megan like kind of watches her, and like Graham sees her, and they kind of have like a little moment, I guess. And then Megan finds out this is what we were talking about earlier. Megan finds out her root is when her dad lost his job, and her mom was like the breadwinner, and she says, I got confused about the roles of men and women, which is like,
it's crazy.
it's so crazy.
We're living in different times.
Right, exactly. Which I think, I forgot what year this is, but I know it's like 91 or something. Which is so like, it doesn't, your mom working and your dad being stay at home does not make you gay. It's so frustrating. Like, you're so frustrated watching it, but it's still like kind of funny. Because they meant for it to be funny. They meant for it to like make fun of all this dumb stuff.
Yeah.
So Mary wants her to write a song about it, and Megan's a cheerleader, so she wants to write a cheer about it. So again, they keep on cutting back to Mary's son playing with different like tools. And this time he's got like a chainsaw. And RuPaul is looking at him again. And then they're like sitting outside, and this flyer gets thrown in the yard, and it's a flyer for a gay club. And it says like, live free, love free, explore your alternatives, which is, I love that. And then like they're doing like group, or they're outside or something, and Megan sits next to Graham, and she's working on her cheer, and Graham kind of helps her, but it's like sarcastically, because she's like, I'm stuck on like 5, 6, 7, 8, and Graham says, God is good, God is great, or God is straight. That's what she says. And Megan's like, hey, that's good. But it's like, ugh, it's so gross. Sorry, I don't.
Cringy.
It's so cringy. And then they kind of get into it a little bit, and Graham tells Megan that this program is bullshit and it doesn't work. And like, you are who you are, and the only trick is not getting caught. Because that's what happened to Graham, is she got caught with a girl, and that's how she got sent there. And then Graham gets up to leave, and Megan like grabs her hand to like comfort her, and she's like, stop it, I can report you for that, because she's like trying to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
But like, ugh, they're falling in love.
They're falling in love. It's so sweet. It's like the epitome, I think, of like a sweet, clear love story.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that too, is that even though the whole idea of this is super traumatic and like a horrible situation, they still get a happy ending, which is really great.
And rare for, it
Like
being
queer movies?
Yeah, for queer movies, especially during that time.
Definitely. And I was like, oh, I just love that they get there. Oh, I cry. If you haven't watched it, you're going to cry at the end. Because like everybody, because it's so sweet.
It is.
So then we get like a montage of them like flirting, and like Megan has a dream of them kissing. And Megan actually during this dream gets woken up by one of the other like campers, I guess. Her name's Sinead, and she's like zapping herself, and she's basically like doing like, I don't know, I guess like again like electroshock kind of.
Yeah.
So she like masturbates with like something from Graham's, and she shocks herself so that way she doesn't like like she tells her like, if you want to like dick, you better start training yourself.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that sounds gross.
That's so gross.
And then so Megan tries it. She goes into like the office, and she tries it with like the zapper. Basically, she has it in her hand, and she catches 2 of the boys making out underneath Mary's desk, and she like yells, and they get caught. And it's Dolph and Clayton, which is Rufio and Kit Pardue. And like
one of them has to go home.
Yes, one of them gets kicked out. It's Rufio, and then Clayton gets put in the doghouse, which is like a literal doghouse, which is really creepy. And then, like, there's another part where, like, people, because Megan caught them, so the rest of them are like, oh, if she would have caught me, I would have, like, bust her face or whatever. And Graham, like, defends her, basically. And then it moves to step 4, and step 4 is demystifying the opposite sex. So, like, they're in a slideshow, and, like, they're showing pictures of, like, men and women, and, like, Graham touches Megan's arm. Like, they start to, like, kind of embrace it more. And there's like another montage of them. There's a lot of montages of them like doing girl things, quote unquote, which then they start standing too close and they start sitting too close and they're like washing dishes and like grabbing the cups out of each other's hands, but like touching hands at the same time. Oh,
That's so cute.
It's so cute. And then Megan's getting ready for bed, and the others are like getting ready to like go to the gay club. So they're like dressed up and stuff, and they're like, come on, like come with us. And she's like, I don't know, she's scared. But they end up all going, and Megan ends up joining too. And they get in the van, and it's driven by this gay couple. And it's Larry and Lloyd, and they're married, and they're so cute. And they they explain themselves as XX gays. But they're just like, oh, we're trying to give you a balanced perspective. And like they make a funny like that it's like the Underground Homo Railroad.
This is so dark.
It's so dark, but it's like, dude, like, I like that they took basically like the power back out of it. Like, it's they acknowledge it, but they're trying to, I don't know if it's make light of it. I don't know. There's a lot of good interviews with the director. If you like read them, if y'all want to search them out. Okay, so Megan thought they were going to a bar, but she didn't know they were going to a gay bar. So she starts saying like her like mantras from the program, like. I don't know, and Graham tells her, like, oh, you don't really have to do that. And then, like, so they're in the bar, and a woman comes up to wants Megan to dance. And Graham's like, go for it. Like, like, she's okay with it. But then so she does. Megan, like, gets up and dances with the other woman. And Graham starts dancing with Sinead, which is another girl in the program. And so, like, Graham and Sinead start getting really close, and Megan gets jealous. So she, like, goes outside.
Yeah.
And Graham follows her. And, like, she's like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's going on? And Megan's like, I'm not supposed to like you. But, like, I do, basically. And she's like, well, what do you want to do? And, like, Megan kisses her. And, like, they keep kissing. And it's so cute. It's so cute. And, like, Sinead goes out and sees them. And she's, like, pissed because she likes Graham a lot, too. Like, ugh. So, yeah. So the night ends with them, like, actually being able to be, like, together kind of a little bit. And then they get back in the van and they drive back. And they're cuddling the whole way back. And then this is like my thoughts on this area. This is kind of where the stereotypes kind of get flipped back onto themselves. Like the next day in the meeting is when Jan, the person we were talking about earlier, where she's like heterosexual, but she says just because like I like baggy pants and play softball and because I'm not as pretty as the other girls doesn't make her gay. And so she quits the program because she's like, I'm straight. Like. Like this is where like that like she's everything quote unquote they were supposed to look for back then, and she's like, no, I'm straight, like it just looked this way, like that's where it gets so far pushed into one way that it flips it on itself. I like that a lot.
So interesting.
Yeah, it's wild.
I'm glad they added that to the movie.
Me too. It was really nice to see, and they're like they even make a joke about it too. One of the guys is like, who's she kidding, like because of the way she looks. But I thought of that too. It's interesting how she says like one of her reasons is she's not as pretty as the other girls, which kind of, I don't know, because like we used to say like tomboys, like, but like that also can mean,
anything.
It doesn't mean that you're gay also.
Yeah.
So Mary finds a matchbook from the gay club under Graham's bed, basically, in the next scene. And she confronts the group, and Graham confesses to having a crush on one of the boys so she doesn't get in trouble. So she's and Mary's so happy that she forgets about them going to the club. And she thinks that like the treatment's working. So everybody doesn't get in trouble. And the parent, it's so funny because they're talking to the parents and stuff. And Mary talks to Megan's parents, and he actually says like he says you took a field trip to the cocksucker, which is the gay club, but he chokes on that word. So he basically chokes on cock. It's so funny. He like can't say the whole word. It's hilarious. That's a little subtle innuendo too. That's like so funny.
The writers were geniuses.
It's really like a spot on, and I'm sure it's because it came from like actual experience. Like spot on. It was made by queer people. So and they say Megan can't come home if she doesn't complete the program. And she tells him, like, I'm getting regular, like, I can't wait to see my boyfriend. And then Mary, to punish them because they went to, like, the gay club, Mary makes them protest at Larry and Lloyd's house, which is the guys who are in the van. And they say, like, dumb. Like, they're dumb, like, Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, which is so stupid. But they protest outside the house or whatever. And then, okay, they have a small, like, graduation party because everybody's reaching their final steps, basically. And like it's funny because Graham pretends to have a crush on that guy, and the guy's like, "You're so good at being straight." And she's like, "Yeah, like," and they're both trying to prove they're straight by like interacting with the boys.
Yeah.
But it's funny because they're looking at each other, and the guys that they're like interacting with are looking at each other. So they're still like lusting after each other, it's just so funny. Like the looks between things is really funny. So the final test. Okay, so they have a test. It's a final test, and those who pass it move on to step 5, which is simulated sexual lifestyle. And there's like a montage of all the things they learn. Like they have to show that they know how to chop wood and blah, 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 and like do like lady like party. I don't know, all that crap. And I put in here, like, any of this makes you straight. That's what I put. And they all pass except for one, and he's the pretty like flamboyant gay guy kind. And he tells them like, "Congratulations, liars! Like you know who you are and you know what you want." And he like runs away. I love it though, but it's like so true.
That's where the campiness comes in.
That's where the camping is, because it's like, because he runs away like, "Ah!" And he like yells. And then that night, Megan and Graham sneak off, and they have like a whole like sex scene montage, which I found out too. Like they could have like all the like the son like rubbing all his like tools, and like there was a longer, when the boys get caught, there was a longer like more intimate scene that was there, but like that was fine, but the like there was supposed to be like actual like women's sex in this movie, and like they didn't like the director, not the directors, I guess the ratings, whoever they are, said like, "No, you can't do this." And she's like, "But I have like 2 boys, why can't we do this?" And she was saying like that was another thing, like a slap in the face, basically, like why they needed to make this movie more, because it's just so ridiculous. Like they could have had that, but not the 2 women together, so they had to tone it down. But I heard it was a lot spicier.
Damn.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Can you release the uncut?
I think there is a director's cut, so that might be out there somewhere.
Okay.
But yeah, so anyways, they have a whole like sex montage, and they get caught, but it's so sweet. The music is like so pretty in the background, and it's so sweet, and it's so tender, and it's like so loving, and I just like love. So that's my soft spot. I love love. So it's so loving. So Mary tells Megan that she'll be removed from the program, and she has nowhere to go, basically, because her parents said she couldn't go with them. So she says basically you can be partners with her son, which is Rock. But it's funny. She says you could be partners with the son, or like you have to leave. And they cut to him, and he's outside like dancing with his garden tool, and it's like super flamboyant. And she's like, "Rock, stop that!" So funny.
He's like the gayest one there.
Yes. It's funny. But Megan says no because she wants to be with Graham. So, but Mary offers the same thing to Graham, and Graham takes the deal because her dad says no, like you have to graduate. So Graham stays and partners with Rock, and Megan's upset, obviously, because Graham chooses to stay. But also, like it's kind of like in Happy Season where like she just has to kind of protect herself, which is also like a valid response. So Megan leaves, and she gets to Larry and Lloyd's house, and Dolph is there actually because that's the couple who got busted earlier.
Yeah.
So he's there, which is Rufio. And she wants them to teach her how to be a lesbian. And they say that like there's not just one way to be a lesbian, just be who you are. And I was like, oh, I love that. And their whole house is rainbow. They're wearing rainbow pajamas. And she tells Dolph how like Graham was supposed to leave with her, and she's upset about it, basically. And then it cuts to step 5. So it's also like simulated sexual lifestyle, which this is like they pretend to have sex with each other, which is like, I say it's gross because they're wearing these like weird bodysuits, and like, I don't know. To me, the whole thing was like also non-consensual, which is really gross.
And they were kids too.
Yes, they're like teens.
Yeah.
And like, so Mary's like coaching them, like, you're supposed to do this. And like, it's like, okay, but she doesn't want to do this, and he doesn't want to do this, but they're supposed to like simulate this.
That's dark.
It's really gross.
Yeah.
And then like it's the funnier part because they do that. It's like super dark and then they say something funny. But one of them's like, well, what about foreplay? And Mary's like, foreplay is for sissies. And she's like, real men get in, unload, and pull out.
That is so
Like, how awful.
horrible. That's so fucking bad.
Does not sound fun.
I mean, that's how.
I mean,
That's my previous experience,
Yeah.
if I will say, in
Yeah.
my hetero life.
that's not my experience. And
Thankfully.
Yes.
But
thankfully.
majority of mine
yeah.
was that way.
Which is ugh, terrible.
Foreplay. We
Yeah.
are for the foreplay.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so they I don't know, Megan and Dolph go to the gay club again and they try to experience like it while she's not at the camp, but she still misses Graham. So all right, so we're at graduation now, and the girls are getting ready and say they're so, it's funny because like they're like, I'm so relieved to be straight now. Which is doesn't make any sense. So Dolph and Megan make a mission to go get their two like partners, and all the families are like at the graduation, and like the boys are on one side and the girls are on the other side, and Graham starts to walk down the aisle and Megan grabs her and is like, which also it's like set up like a wedding, which
Yeah.
is really, and this is where they're in their like vinyl outfit.
Yeah.
The boys are in like blue vinyl like suits and the girls are in like puffy tulle pink vinyl monstrosities.
Horrible.
They're not cute at all. And Megan grabs Graham and she was like, I want you to come with me. And she's like, basically like shrugs her off like, I can't do this. So Graham doesn't go with her. So Megan goes back to the truck and gets her cheerleading outfit and her pom-poms. And she does the cheer for her. And I wrote it down because it's like so cute. She tells her 1, 2, 3, 4, I won't take no anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8, I want you to be my mate. 1, 2, 3, 4, you're the one that I adore. 5, 6, 7, 8, don't run from me because this is fate.
Oh,
And that's where I cry.
Look at it.
So cute. It's so sweet.
It's so sweet.
So like she yells at her like I love you, and like she runs away because Mary starts yelling at her to like get out of there. And then like she gets to the truck and then she's like go go go, and Dolph got his partner so he came with him. And then Graham runs up behind her and they get in the truck and they kiss in the truck like all the way back, and they're happy and it's like they're together and it's just so cute.
It's so sweet.
And the music is so sweet. It's the same music of their like sex scene also. So yeah, like that's kind of the end of the movie. But I think I have it right here. So like Jamie Babbitt is what she was saying. She said she had to cut any mention. I know it's a Floridian slip, right? She had to cut any mention of a woman going down on another woman to avoid an NC-17 rating.
That's ridiculous.
Isn't that wild?
That is so crazy.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so I had it right here. RuPaul and Clea Duvall are the only actors in the cast that are actually LGBTQ spectrum. But I know the director is too. But I'm sure the like other cast or crew members have talked about working on that movie and
Yeah.
they're queer also.
That's cool.
So yeah, that was kind of it. I don't know.
I love it, friend.
I love that movie. So
Thank you
much.
for
Yeah.
all of that. You were all set up
I know. I
with
had
your
all
notes. Well, to be fair, it's just like I have a horrible memory. Like I watched it twice, and twice or 3 times.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, like you just like memorize everything. So
It's just my brain. That's the way
I
it
love
works.
it.
But I took notes so I wouldn't forget because I wanted it because I felt like last time in Happy Season we could have been more organized.
yeah,
That was my cap.
it's all good.
But yeah, just in case they didn't want to watch the movie, we went through it step by step. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of, I don't know, final thoughts, I guess, is like, dude, it's all made up. This binary shit is all made up. And if it was made up, like, we could get into it. Banks, like debt, credit scores, all made up. All made up.
Everything.
We can unmake it up also.
Yeah, construct.
Yeah.
Like who says that a penny is worth a penny?
Yeah, it's all made up.
It's all made up.
We can get rid of all of that. Mortgages.
They're gonna come for us, friend.
Dude.
They're gonna come for us.
Sorry. I mean, if you ever want to talk to me about that stuff, I'm down to talk. Actually, we had a conversation with some friends like a week ago, and it was nice to have a conversation about things that are going on right now in like, you know, around schools, and it was nice to like not be yelled at, like where it was like an immediate like shoot to anger. It was nice to like have a constructive like, well, what do you think about this? Oh, okay. what about this? Oh, I don't really agree with that, but I think that like that
Yeah.
was really refreshing.
Yeah.
And I just like conversation like
Yeah.
that.
I think it's important to have conversations and hold space
definitely,
to hear people out.
definitely. But yeah, I don't know. You have
Yeah.
final thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a great film.
Yeah,
I
it's-
think it's a great film if you're coming out or like, you know, or you haven't come out and you want something to kind of, you know, make you laugh and like have a little lightheartedness, even though there's like a lot of darkness.
Yeah,
like,
it's really
seeped in.
campy. If you love like campy,
Yeah.
stuff like that,
It's great.
you'll like it.
Yeah, it's a great film. I think it was very well written and it was pretty funny. And it's so interesting seeing Natasha Lyonne in that light because she's so young.
She
and-
is, and she usually plays more like a dark and dreary kind of character. She's like really bright and bubbly in this one,
Yeah.
which is she's great in it, but it's really weird.
It is.
Cleo Duvall plays her like stereotypical like goth queen,
Yeah.
like, 90s goth queen.
Yes.
Ugh,
I love
her
it.
so much.
I love it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was it. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Sorry, it was it was a lot of facts and talking.
Yeah, but go check it out. And
Yeah.
hopefully, if you did check it out, you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
Let us know what you think about the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess we'll do the socials.
Socials. Oh, real quick before socials, we never ever plan out correctly.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, so we are gonna do our Pride Month live. We're gonna do it for. I hope you guys will join us. It'll be Wednesday the 15th at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it's tomorrow if you're listening to this on Tuesday.
Yes.
So yeah,
Tomorrow.
join us.
Come hang out.
Hopefully, I think we'll be in the same room this time. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. Come join us. Talk Pride stuff with us. What do you do
Yeah.
for Pride?
Let's go be gay.
Yeah. What do you got planned for Pride? 'Cause
Yeah.
it'll be like still a whole half of a month at that point.
Absolutely.
How exciting. So join us then. I'll put a little countdown timer thingy on our Instagram too, which if you want to see that, please follow us at One Thing Queer. And my personal Instagram is SpexRayX.
And my personal Instagram is at Jenny Lynn Bouton. And if you would like to share your coming out story or any type of story about your queer experiences, feel free to email us at onethingqueer@gmail.com. We also have a TikTok at One Thing Queer Podcast.
Yeah. Exciting.
All right.
All right.
I guess that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of One Thing Queer. Make sure you tune in next Tuesday for a whole new show.
Yeah. And we'll see you in the live tomorrow.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Graphics by BexUniverse.co. Music by Jacody.